From Jenna Ortega having issues with the way her character behaved, to Megan Fox complaining about the Transformers director, here are some of the times when actors complained while filming on set. Starting with Jenna revealed some strange things about the shoot of the show on a podcast. Wednesday was released more recently and became a massive hit, but the fans that loved the show don't really know what happened behind the scenes. The actor, who got immense recognition for her role in the Netflix show, recently discussed some issues she faced during the filming of her series. For instance, initially, she didn't have all the scripts. I understand that's the case at times, when maybe the story isn't finished or some things are in the works. But for her character, it was important that she got the script and saw how the makers wanted it seen. There had to be a thought clash. This was evident when she said that she expected the setting to be a lot darker than it was. And Jenna was also unaware of the tone or the background score. In short, she had to prepare a character with little to no cues. She said, "I don't think I've ever had to put my foot down more on a set in a way that I had to on Wednesday." It's clear she had difficulties understanding the character because the one in her mind was definitely different from the one being shot on set. Jenna also said that everything she had to play didn't make sense for her character, like the forced love triangle or the random lines. This is one place where the fans agree with the actress evidently. Everyone felt that the love triangle between Xavier, Tyler, and Wednesday was forced. The plot was heavily criticized by the viewers, and I'm sure the makers have taken notice of it. But that wasn't all that bothered Ortega. There were other parts of the script that were weird. Like a line she had to say about a dress that just didn't go along with the vibe of Wednesday. It had gotten in her head so much that she sometimes changed the dialogue herself. Kinda like doing improv mid-scene. The script supervisor saw this happening and made her sit with the writers to have a chat. She wanted to give Wednesday a touch that wasn't of a stereotypical teen. Jenna wanted the character to have emotional growth because she'd gotten protective of her. There are rumors that she might be involved in the production of the upcoming season. If that's true, it'll be interesting to see how the dynamics of the character changes. But for now, I suppose the makers did well enough to receive the response they did. It's crazy to have your show among the most watched of all time on Netflix. Just like Jenna, Zendaya too had her issues with the makers of a biopic, and she left that project due to certain differences. Back in 2014, Lifetime was making a biopic on the R&B singer Aaliyah. It was highly anticipated because of the story, and also because Zendaya was playing as the lead. The actor made headlines when it got public that she'd left the film because of concerns over the production quality. She later clarified in a statement that she left the film because the production team wasn't 100% invested in the movie, and she didn't want to disappoint the fans or the family of the singer. Another major concern that the actor had was the fact that the makers didn't get approval from the late singer's family to use her music, but still ended up going forward with the movie. This was highly unethical and would straight up be bad PR for the actor. Zendaya wouldn't want to get involved in such a sketchy project, even though it had the potential to be a super hit. Lifetime went with the project anyway, and it's safe to say that Zendaya made a good judgment call. The film wasn't received well by both critics and fans. It had an IMDb rating of 3.2 and goes to show how much of a mess the production must have been. Though there have been times when the actors have issues on set but still end up making a decent film. That's what happened with Christian Bale and his character in Thor. The man who played Batman in the Nolan trilogy was loved by the fans of DC Universe, and he was making his entry into the MCU as Gorr. While everyone is a fan of the cinematic universe that Marvel is providing, most people have no clue about the filming techniques. And I suppose Bale was one of them. He was very excited to join the MCU, but his experience on set wasn't a memorable one. It was the first time that Bale was working with so many green screens, and let's just say he wasn't fond of the experience. While referring to the green screens, he said that they're the definition of monotony. His main issue with the production procedure was the fact that there was no differentiation. All the magic that's shown on theater screens gets created behind the scenes on computers. And it was difficult for an actor like him to cope with this unique way of filming. For him, every day was the same. All he had to do was get some makeup done, suit up, and perform in front of green screens. Bale said that he had no idea what to do, and it was even difficult to differentiate one stage from the other. Thankfully, the film did well, and that might have boosted his confidence in the way the makers at the MCU work. He's not the only one to express his disagreement with the MCU. Jeremy Renner thought Hawkeye was being underutilized. The actor who plays Hawkeye had his first major appearance as the superhero in the first Avengers film, but he was unhappy with the role and the amount of screen time that he got. Renner's criticism initially was that he spent most of the time being a mind-controlled servant to Loki, and that this wasn't what he'd signed up for. I've watched the whole Avengers franchise, and I can agree that at first, his character wasn't that significant, despite being really cool. Jeremy expressed his feelings about the character in an interview, where he said that Hawkeye could have a bigger part to play and a real purpose to be in the squad. He said that he felt his character was in the picture for 2 minutes and then suddenly turns into a villain. Renner was having such a bad time on set that he'd often go around pretending his character had gotten a heart attack, just to suggest to the producers that he could be killed off. That's hilarious. But to his surprise, the director understood what he was saying and made some changes to the sequel. Since then, his character has gained more recognition, and even has its own Disney Plus series called Hawkeye. But not everyone gets their issues sorted. Some even get fired, as Selma Blair did. Selma had issues with her co-star on anger management regarding his unprofessional behavior. He'd show up late on set and was a really difficult person to work with. In an interview that Selma gave in 2013, she discussed how she was fired from the show. Charlie Sheen, who was her co-star, was also the executive producer of the show. And when he got to know that Selma had been constantly complaining about his behavior on set, Charlie had a chat with the producers and decided to get her fired. He sent her a not-so-friendly text message in response to her complaints, and the actress was seen in a public feud with the producer after her harsh remarks. Charlie even went on to comment on her mental health status, and the drama went on for a while. That'll be all on times when actors complained while filming on set.